Hey, Blox fam. I hope everyone made it home safely and timely, even though I know a lot of you do not fit into the timely category. But I hope you guys have finally made your way back home. So I had the pleasure of talking to a lot of you this past week. And though I know not all of you, I think by the end of the week, I was still noticing a handful of people that I had not even seen, much less talked to. So if you were one of those people, I apologize. I did the best I could with the prison cell I was given. But if we did not get a chance to meet while we were in Tulsa, I would still absolutely love to connect. So feel free to reach out at any time. If I did get time to spend with you in the last week, I think you will have sure gathered that I like a good pun or a metaphoric conversation. I like to keep things light. I like to keep things positive and forward. And I thought I'd share with you guys what my first day of freedom outside of prison, my experience that I had this morning, because I think that you all will appreciate it. Red, I hope you appreciate it. So I even tried to write this message like partially last night, partially this morning. I tried to like type it out so I could just jump into the work that was staring at me. But, the truth was I really needed to come here. I really needed to speak this. I need to get this off my heart. I need to get that off my chest. And I think life is just too short. And quite frankly, I will probably forget everything I wanted to say in another couple hours anyway. Squirrels, shiny objects, all the things. So I hope you guys can appreciate this. So I decided that, this morning after I took my son to camp, I was going to just kind of go outside for a little bit. I am not feeling up to going for a walk or an exercise or a workout. Good for y'all, but like I know and am recognizing that I need to rest. I need to, kind of simmer and reflect and just kind of like recenter before I jump back into life. So I chose to go outside this morning. It's a beautiful morning. It's only like 70 degrees here in Chicago. And I decided to go out and weed the garden because when I walked in last night from my really creepy Uber ride home, there's like this 3 foot dandelion that's like growing in the like front, whatever. And it's like staring at me, like right by the front door. And I was just immediately like so annoyed by that weed and was like, I can't move forward without getting rid of that weed. I'm going to think about that weed forever. So I decided that, instead of attempting to jump in at the 416 unread emails that are currently sitting in my inbox, that I would spend a little time outside. And so I went out there and I got my gloves and I started pulling the big weeds before I went to spray the little ones. Because, the big weeds really take a little bit more. They take a little bit more. Like I could spray it and it might like wilt, but it's probably not going to die because it's already built those roots. And so I decided I was going to go pull the big ones out, pull as much as I could out and then spray the rest and like hope that they all die and hope that I forget about it, hope that it, lets me continue on with my day. And, as I'm pulling each one of these weeds, I could not stop thinking about y'all. I could not stop thinking about all of you, all of the experiences that we shared, last week. And, I think it kind of made me realize that we got a lot of weeding to do, guys. Like, we have a lot of metaphorical and physical weeding that we have to do. Okay. So, that experience and being in that room is unmatched. And I know that you guys know that. If you are watching this and you are not part of the Blox fam, I still love you, but I will never be able to put into words what it was like being in that room. There are no words. Okay. So I know that I have a lot more weeding to do metaphorically slash, in my business and in my personal life. But, we spent the last week really deep diving into a lot of really incredible, important topics about our businesses. And while I wish that we could have stayed longer, like forever, even though it was the longest month of a week I've ever experienced in my life. I really wish we could have stayed longer and really, dove a little deeper, but I am not gonna lie. I am perfectly fine back in my hammock in my backyard. So, I know that it was a really hard week, and I know that a lot of us are on a high from that week, and I truly hope that everyone feels like they are on a good high and that they are in a place where they are ready to take some action and to kind of move forward. But I also know that some of us might have some negative thoughts, and we might have not had the best experience, or maybe we didn't have the experience that we thought we would, or maybe there were just parts of the experience that were disappointing to us. Maybe they were challenging to us. But we all have negative thoughts and we all have self-doubts, like whether you were up in the winner circle or not. We all have those negative thoughts and we all have those self-doubts, and we're human. Okay. Like, it's okay. We're human, but it is time to pluck those weeds. Okay. It is time to really focus on those things and get rid of them. Right? So I know y'all heard me took a lot of, y'all got me saying y'all now too. So that's a thing. But so you guys all heard me talk a lot about the energy and the lack of words to properly kind of describe that. And if you were at the fireside chat that we had on the second to last day, you'll know, some of this conversation. But I think that the number one thing that I kind of took away from this was that energy, and how important that energy is, how important it is to be in the right place at the right time, how important it is to recognize being in the right place at the right time and putting, everything that you've got into that, right? Like, energy flows where focus grows. And that is something that I truly am going to honor and like really hone in on moving forward. And I think it's really important that we note that the energy in that room was nothing but pure. Nothing but pure. Like, I don't think that it is meant to be put into words, because if I was to try to tell someone else, which I have, and I have struggled, if I would tell someone else in any type of words what that felt like, they won't get it. And that's okay. And I think that recognizing that that's okay is a big step of the process. And I know I had this conversation with a handful of people because this was a big moment for me as well. We spend so much time trying to get people to understand. And while clarity in our message is very important, obviously, for numerous reasons, it is also important to recognize that we waste a lot of time talking to the wrong people. We waste a lot of time trying to get the wrong people to understand what the fuck we are talking about, what we are passionate about, what we are dreaming about. People just don't get it, and that's okay, right? We all have rooms at home. Right now, we're all home again, and it was great. It was great to be in a room full of people who get it. Was it not? Like, you cannot deny that. Okay. But we all come home. We all come home to our lives. And don't get me wrong, there are some of us who absolutely have rooms here, and people here who support us wholeheartedly, who might actually get it. And there are plenty of people who support us wholeheartedly that don't get it, but they still love us and support us. And that's great too. Okay. But we all have rooms here at home that are filled with people who don't get it, who don't care, who don't, quite frankly, just like literally don't even want to give us the time of day. And that's fine. Pluck yourself out of that goddamn room and find a new one. Or better yet, create one, build one. Okay. That is something that I am taking so deeply with me after this experience, is building that room, building that energy. And I told this to Wes, and I think he gave me some smart ass remark of how great a compliment it was, even though I'm not totally sure if he was kidding or serious, and that's fine. But there is no words, and you can tell. I know you guys cannot deny that you could tell how much this fills Wes's cup. This feeds his energy. This feeds his soul. He is so passionate about everything that we did. And I want that. I want to feel that. I want to continue to feel that. I want to invite you guys and others in our community to feel that, to be a part of that energy. Okay. And I really hope you guys feel the same way. Okay. So for those of you who didn't make it on stage, right? Okay. For those of you that did not make it on stage, I hope you still carry an incredible, incredible sense of accomplishment because holy shit, showing up to Tulsa, showing up every single day was like so hard, right? It was so hard. It was like really fucking hard. Okay. And there were days that, a lot of us might have been really bummed or, felt like you deserved to be on stage. And in reality, all of us deserve to be on stage. All of us are worthy. We are all fantastic humans, but this was a show. This was a game, and we knew that going into it. Okay? Like I knew that going into it. But hell, I felt this way. I felt a certain way not winning the pod on branding day. Okay? And I know that people are going to watch this who were not part of our BloxFam, and they are also probably going to be like, oh my God, she what? She what? Right? That initially felt like a slap in the face. Okay. Like, I'll also say it was a massive sigh of relief because I thought I was going to throw up because I really felt like I had a chance to win that pod. But it also felt like an initial slap in the face. And I want to say this because I think it's fair that we're all honest about our opinions, about our feelings. And I think that in that moment, I had a very big, like, instant feeling of doubt, right? Of embarrassment. This is what I do for a living. How could I not win that pod? Right. But then I quickly remembered that, I didn't come for the game. I truly didn't. I did not come for the game. I did not come to win the money. I did not come to show off. I came to learn, right? I came to learn. I came to grow. I came to connect. I came to share. I came to inspire. And I truly hope that if we had any conversations, I was able to inspire you in one way or another because what we did was hard. Very freaking hard. It was hard to show up every day. It was hard diving into the unknown every single day. It was hard to eat the catering by day 6 in a row. It was so hard. The dessert, though, am I right? The dessert was like top notch every single freaking day. But okay, it was hard and you did it. And I want you to recognize, I invite you to recognize that showing up every single one of those hard fucking days was a choice. Okay, that was a choice. You could have very well buckled under pressure and you could have woke up in the morning and hid in that tall, skinny ass closet that was next to your bed in your hotel room. Okay, you could have hid. You could have chosen to not come downstairs. You could have chosen to say, you know what? I am not participating in this hard ass 15-minute, I don't even know my name presentation. Okay, but you didn't. You showed the fuck up. And guess what? You didn't even just show up for yourself. You showed up for the rest of us. Okay. I'm going to say that again for those of you who chose to sit in the tables in the back, which is for reasons I will probably never understand. But for those of you in the back, you did not just show up last week for yourself. You showed up for the rest of us. You showed up for Wes. You showed up for the judges. You showed up for the production crew. You showed the fuck up for everyone. You showed up for those who you have not even touched yet, for those who you have not even impacted yet or inspired yet. You showed up for so much more than you think you did. And I'm going to cut this short before I start fucking crying because I ain't here. I ain't all about that. Y'all are already seeing me like lashless and in my ponytail, but you know what? We're not on camera. Well, yes, we are on camera right now, but we are not on, production camera right now. So I want you to take today, a part of today, 10 minutes, a half hour, an hour, the whole day, the rest of the week, which I may just quite possibly do. And I want you to reflect. I want you to truly think deeper about all aspects of the experience that we just came out of. Okay. And I want to thank you. Here we go. I want to thank you for showing up for me, for showing up for my partner, for showing up for my neighbors, I want to thank you wholeheartedly for showing up. And to the judges, I want to thank you for showing up, for being there for us, for showing us the way. And Wes, I want to thank you for showing up. No bullshit. Being the dry douche that you are, pouring your heart and soul and passion into all of us, because even though you touched 100 people's hearts and souls in that room, that is exponentially touching so many more people's lives as we now go back out into the world and take all of that with us. Okay? Cutting this short now. I told you I wouldn't do this. Okay? BloxFam, I see you. I am you. I'm proud of you. I believe in you, and I am here for you. Okay? Please don't ever hesitate to reach out. I love you all. I'm out. Bye.